Whether you're looking for a Chevy car, truck, or SUV, go see my friends at Apple Chevy in Tinley Park. With over 500 new and used vehicles in stock, they have what you're looking for and at the lowest price possible. Go to applechevy.com. Okay, another big story happening here in Chicago today is in the aftermath of that very tragic accident in which the toddler was killed in a stroller while a car was on the south side over the weekend trying to escape some
gunman who had just, basically ultimately killed somebody or fired shots in one direction, and he died and then backed it over a stroller as a mother frantically tried to get the little baby and her other children out of the way.
And Dylan Harris was just celebrated his first birthday on May 21st and died at the scene. And this is it's a terrible story. And yet what's interesting that is coming out of it is that a charity concert is being considered now to pay for money for this family and to honor this little boy's life. And it's his charity concert would actually star one of the more infamous acts in Chicago's recent memory, Chief Keef, who is a rising young hip hop artist, but has had a lot of trouble with the law here in Chicago on his own. And he's an interesting character because he played Lollapalooza, and there was some really interesting stuff about how successful he is in his social media driven world, right? That markets his music.
Very passionate followers,
right? And now they're going to do a concert, but they're not going to do it with him here.
That's what's so interesting.
Yes, they're doing it by hologram now. Alki David is the producer is going to put this thing on, and Alki, thanks very much for being with us. Why won't Chief Keef come here? Can he not come here?
Well, I mean, originally it was because of the arrest warrants he has out on him. So obviously, before negotiating those and getting those out of the way, he would just be arrested if he turned up in Chicago. But now apparently there are a series of death threats out against him. So even more importantly, it is for him to appear by hologram rather than by physical being.
And so where does the death stuff come from?
By the way, the death threats online from. Well, I mean, look, it's very important to understand this that the child that was tragically killed by the
driver,
by
Dylan
the
Harris,
drivers of the car were actually leaving the scene of a crime where they had just shot and murdered one of Keef's buddies, whose street name is Capo, or his hip hop name is Capo, and really that is Keef's
reason for wanting to be involved in this.
Driving reason to be, and also last year his cousin was also shot and murdered. And Keef is now got he's got in Los Angeles where he is now, his house is full of kids' toys. You know how when you become a father, your house ends up becoming a play, Toys R Us rather than
right.
I know very well.
And,
yes.
Right. and so he's 19 years old, Keef. He's a father. He's a hip hop star. So he's changing. Two murders back to back, and then the final blow.
But will he be?
Was the toddler's death?
Let me ask you this: for this, and I want to ask you about the mechanics of this too, because it's interesting what he's going to do. It's being described as a holographic performance, and I want you to explain that to us. But is he going to decry the violence in this performance?
Look, yes, he is. On Friday we did a listening party at the studio, at the Hologram studio in Beverly Hills, and he talked about joining the Stop the Violence Stop the Violence campaign. Then this was prior to Capo's death, and the music that he's putting out now is changed dramatically to what it was. Before it was a call to arms. Now it's talking about the usual stuff 19-year-olds talk about, and in some cases it's starting to get quite soulful. His sound. We released a record called "Ain't Missing You," which is an '80s cover, and he did it brilliantly. But he chose.
I don't think anybody's really questioning him as an artist in terms of his skill and his heart or his mindset speaks to his music. But he does have issues here, and the issues. I mean, he's had some obviously some run-ins with the law. He. One of the reasons that he got charged with weapons crime is that he was already on probation and then seen on social media brandishing a weapon. I mean, it's like it's just the leaving that life, that street life here, that thug life here that exists, and it is so dangerous, and it makes this the murder capital of the country. I think in Chicago, people are going to expect more from him if he really wants to make this change. And now that he's lost, two people that are close to him in such a short order.
Of course, he's going to tell people. Of course, he's going to tell people. Look, he's an influential guy, right? And his followers are literally diehard followers, right? And
I hope not.
And
I get it.
Well, I mean, the history speaks for itself. The history speaks for itself, right? I mean, he's already spoken out against violence. He's already expressed, taking out his issues in paintball and in stuff that is organized rather than random acts of violence. He's definitely going to speak against it. I didn't say that he wouldn't. I just said that his music also expresses it.
Alki, very quickly, can you tell us what does that mean, a holographic performance? What if people go to this thing on Friday night? What will they see?
Right. Well, you saw Tupac at Coachella. You saw video clips of Tupac at Coachella, or perhaps you saw. We did a Jimmy Kimmel Live between Nashville and Hollywood, or. So it'll basically be a stage where Keef will be teleported onto the stage from a stage in Los Angeles, and he will be able to interact live with the audience, and he'll perform. But he'll physically be performing in our studio in Beverly Hills.
And this is your company that does this. I mean, is that your connection to this? Is that this is what you guys do? This idea of the holographic and teleporting, that's your business end of this?
Yeah, it is. We're in it. This is one of several things that we do in media, and we when Keef said he wanted to do a concert for, I thought it would be a good idea for him to do it this way.
But you're saying he's turned a corner, Alki. He's turned a corner personally as well as professionally, because a lot of people might look at him and say he's the last example of what the city's streets need to be looking toward in terms of a role model or the right way to end the violence in terms of his own weapon charges, his own life and connectivity to crime, and the fact that he's not coming here because of these outstanding warrants.
Well, look, Anna. I think that it's important to look at this. What do his peers say? What do people in the hip hop world say? Nobody's criticizing him for it. Nobody's calling him a fraud or a fake or anything like that. Which is what mainstream media seems to be latching onto, and one clergyman in Chicago seems to have called him. Yeah, and the fact is this: is that his own industry and his own peers aren't saying that. They hear it in his music. They hear it in they see it in his social media. His social media is full of pictures of his kids.
Right, but isn't it ironic though that he can't come back to Chicago because he still has criminal charges here? He's got at some point he's going to have to address that.
And so, what a great way to perform when he wants to perform.
I guess, but I mean, I suppose that's one way of looking at it. But at some point, if he is maturing and he's 19, he's a dad, and he wants to raise kids in a better world than he found. Then I mean, you do have to be accountable for your actions, right?
And you know what? And he will. He fully intends to address all those issues and do what he needs to do in order to get rid of it. But he won't be able to do it for next Friday, which is when the time is right to put the show on.
All right, Elkie, thank you very much. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Elkie.
All
right, guys. Bye-bye.
Elkie David, who's producing this Chief Keef holographic concert that's going to be coming up here on Friday. All right, and the clergyman he was referring to is Father Flager, who is literally telling Chief Keef to shut up.
Literally use those words.
Father Flager is going to join us in just about 2.5 minutes to explain that. All right, we just talked to the guy who's going to be the producer of this concert. Chief Keef is going to have the notorious Chicago rapper who now lives in L.A. He's going to do a concert that's going to benefit the family
of the toddler killed
at 63rd and Ellis over the weekend on Saturday afternoon, actually, when a gunman in a car drove up and they shot and killed a friend of Chief Keef's, who's a rapper, and then drove away and then ran over this toddler on the way out. I'm not exactly sure that despite all of the explanation by his producer that he's turned a corner and he's great and it's all going to be fine. It makes a lot of sense to me. Father Michael Flager from St. Sabina earlier today said he used the term "shut up" about Chief Keef.
It's pretty clear.
Yeah, and now he's on the Super Celebrity Hotline. And Father, explain exactly what that meant. Why were you telling him to shut up?
Why are you so mad?
How you doing? Listen, I just, to my thing is if Chief Keef wants to write a check and give money to the two families, that's great and it's wonderful. There's a tragedy about these two lives that are lost. But, he's also talking about he's going to start a foundation to stop the violence. Well, you're one of the big promoters and the big pushers and glorifying this violence out here. If he was going to have a concert and he announced that I'm finished, I'm not doing another thing glorifying or promoting violence, fine. But you can't, on one hand, say this is terrible and I'm going to do a concert, and the next minute the concert is full of music that's promoting and glorifying it. I mean, it's hypocritical. On his Instagram of his chiefkeef.com today, he put up a picture of him and a couple of his guys sitting around a table with a bunch of assault weapons on them. I mean, it's just absolutely bizarre. Either you're going to take a turn from the corner and move from this violence thing, or you're going to stop trying to play both sides. You can't do that.
Well, it's going to be interesting because it's in this Elkie David is kind of an interesting character in California. He owns he's a billionaire, owns a lot of different companies, and he's in the entertainment industry. One of them is this holographic technology, which I guess he sees as a good way to make possible what would otherwise not be possible, because if Chief Keef shows back up in Cook County, he gets arrested.
Right.
I mean, so it's like
what message is that?
So crazy, but and this guy's a billionaire. Great, happy for him. But you know what? Stop and promoting money and pushing junk like this. We do not need a Chief Keef out here promoting more and glorifying more violence. Am I blaming him for the violence in Chicago? Absolutely not. I mean, there's 9,000 issues of why we got this violence, but it's a piece of it when you keep pushing it and promoting it and glorifying it. And then on the other hand, you're saying you want to start a Stop the Violence Foundation. Give me a break. Make up your mind.
Father Flager, do you think this is a career move? Because his promoter just was explaining to us about how he's turned a corner. He's going to be singing about the stuff that normal teenagers, normal younger people sing about, and he's not going to be about gangs and violence and drugs anymore. You think this is sort of just a way to kickstart a new chapter of his career?
Well, if it is, that's great. I mean, congrats to him. I'm with him 100% if he wants to turn this corner. But seems a little crazy that on his Instagram today, like 9 hours ago, 8 hours ago, he puts up a picture with him and some guns on a table with his guys. So
I'm looking at that picture right now, and there's one guy actually holding one of the automatic weapons, looking like he's fake firing it. And
so, I mean, when did he change the corner? An hour ago? Or, I mean,
7 hours, maybe.
Yeah, it was apparently it was right before the interview with the promoter. All right, Father, we're gonna have to cut it short here because we got to do the news here at the top. But I appreciate your time, sir, and thank you for speaking out on this. All right, Father Flager. Wow. Wow, that's an excellent point.
It is an excellent point.
Okay.
Can't do both things, right?